Hello, Highline, general psychology students. Well, as promised, here comes a lecture. Here's what it looks like out my back window, and that's why you're home today. So here we are on, let's see, January 14th, 2020. And what we're going to do is continue our lecture from where we left off yesterday. As you remember, yesterday we finished up talking about how to set up a good experiment. And we're ready today to move out of that and into looking at the relationship between two variables. And we began that yesterday. We talked about the fact that there were two different ways to look at how variables relate to each other. One is a cause-effect relationship. The other is a correlational relationship, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Hi, can you see me okay? So what we talked about yesterday a little bit was that experiments are able to analyze cause-effect relationships. That is, to what extent does the independent variable cause the what? Yes, the dependent variable. So that is what cause-effect relationships are about. Now we're going to take a look at correlation, which means co meaning together, relation meaning two things are related. And so we're going to take a look at how this thing called correlation works. And in talking about that a little bit yesterday, what did we realize? We realized that just because two things are correlated doesn't mean that they what? Right. Doesn't mean that they cause one another. So we got variable A and variable B that are related to each other in some way. But just because they're related doesn't mean that variable A, what's that word again? Yeah, causes variable B. In other words, as they say, correlation does not imply causation. So let's take a look at correlation and take a look at how it works. Because what we know out there is literally there are thousands and thousands of variable events, things that we can measure in some way. And, psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, economists are all looking for ways to see how things relate to one another. As we talked about yesterday, insurance companies are very good at correlations. They want to see what things relate to accidents, what things make people more at risk, and so on. And then based on those correlations, that's how much they charge you, right? Remember, guys, yesterday when we talked about how, as age goes up, accidents go down. But when you're a younger guy down here, what do? Insurance companies charge you a lot. So what we're going to take a look at first is two types of correlation. And you should have your lecture guide here. Looks like this, right? So take a look at the part that says correlation, and we can begin to make some sense of what's going on. So with correlation, there are two types. Positive correlation, and what's the other one? Yeah, negative correlation. So in positive correlation, what's going on is that the two variables are heading in the same direction. Meaning, as one variable increases in value, what happens to the other one? Yes, the other one also increases in value. Or, what's the other way of looking at it? Right, as one decreases in value, what does the other one do? Also decrease in value. And we're going to take a look at some examples, and hopefully you read about it in your reading in our book here by Myers. So, positive correlation, both variables are headed in the same direction. One's going up, the other's going up. Or one's going down and the other's going down. That's positive correlation. Let's see, I think we got another one here called a what correlation? Yes, a negative correlation. So what's going on with negative correlation? Well, as you know, right? As one goes up in value, what's happening to the other one? The other one goes down. So that was an example that we had about yesterday, right? As age increases, people get older, generally their number of accidents go down. So are they related? Yes. Does one cause the other? Just because you're 16, and does it cause you to get more accidents? No. What we know is that those are just generalizations, and of course, correlation doesn't say anything specifically about you. It just says that this variable over here is related in some way to this variable over there, okay? And of course, that correlation holds for accidents up until a certain age. Once people start getting into their mid 60s, 70s, and so on, then that correlation doesn't hold quite as much because older people then do start having more accidents, okay? So, positive correlation, negative correlation. Now let's take a look at some examples of correlation that I want to give you. Some ways to think about when you hear how two variables are related, then you say to yourself, how are they related? If this first one goes up and the second one goes up, oh yeah, then that would be positive. So let's take a look for a moment at how those variables are related. I'm going to give you in a moment some examples of those, okay?